Hi guys, welcome back to another of my reviewing my record collection. This is number three, yes, and this is Amorphis, Skyforger. This is from 2009. So you see, I am reviewing my record collection. I'm going back in the past. I'm going to last week or to over a decade ago. This is a beautiful album. This is in my top 10 albums of all time. I did a video showing my top 10 albums of all time. And I've never done video with this song in mind. Video with this album in mind, I mean. So I'll have to pick a song off here to go like, hey, listen to this, in case you've never heard Amorphis before and want to have a listen. Amorphis, what are they classed as? I would class them in the progressive metal sphere mainly because it's hard to actually class them into anything. They've been called melodic death metal, they've been called folk metal, progressive metal. Progressive in a sense that other bands don't really produce the sort of sound they produce, the sort of folky elements to their music, but their music doesn't really have lots of changes in it. So where's the progression then? But there's lots of progressive bands out there that aren't really progressive at all. So it's a really difficult sort of genre to define, and with Amorphis, it's a difficult one to define. Now this album, is a gatefold, as you can see. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Got the lyrics inside. It's from Back in Black. Back in Black re-released this album in 2018. The original album, of course, 2009. I originally got this album way back in 2009, I think it was. Might have been. No, I think it was a little bit after that. On digital download. Because at the time I was doing lots of digital downloads. And I was like, I like this album, but I can get it really cheap. Because they were really cheap and I used to like doing that. Gone off with it a little bit these days because I don't really tend to listen to my digital downloads in that way. So the problem being, I didn't get to listen to this album enough. Put it on in the car and things like that, but until a couple of years ago I didn't really have a system that I could plug in my digital stuff to, because, till the lovely wife bought me a new system a few Christmases back. It's always Christmas. Christmas is great. Get stuff. And she basically got me that stuff and I was able to plug the stuff in and it was like, yeah, you can just do it. Oh, wait a minute. And suddenly I found this was available from Back in Black. I thought, yes, I can listen to this in the living room without having to plug in an iPod or a phone. And so that's what I did. So there's the story for that. Now, Amorphis is in my top 10. This is my top 10 albums, Skyforger. They've released several albums since then. I've got all those albums since then. They're all great albums, they're all fantastic, awesome albums. They don't match this, they don't get into my top 10 because this is there going like, ha ha ha, this is mine. And I could automatically say, I would give this a 9.8 out of 10. Not quite 10. I don't think anything will ever get a 10 out of me. No, I don't think anything will actually get a 10. Very, very, very difficult to get a 10 out of me because there's always little niggles for any album. This one, however, there's 10 songs. That's two hands full of fingers. 10 songs. And it basically kicks off, nice bit of piano and guitar, and then roars into Sampo, belts in with Silver Bride, which is probably the song that most people know by Amorphis ever, really, or at least from this album. Then we've got From the Heaven of My Heart. I always forget the name of that. From the Heaven of My Heart. It's just amazing song. Sky Is Mine follows that, again, amazing song. Then the melodic death metal thing really does creep in. There's bits and pieces throughout the songs on this album where you've got him doing his death growl. I'm not a huge fan of death growls, but when they're offset by stunning music and clean vocals, I can take them. I can take them to a certain amount. It's Majestic Beast, which is the 5th song, is basically the death metal song, melodic death metal song on this album, because the vast majority of the vocals are death metal vocals. The choruses are cleans. There's a little bridge that's clean as well, I think. But overall, it's a death metal song, but it's still freaking stunner. But if you can get over his vocals again, the driving rhythm patterns throughout Majestic Beast are just brilliant, and again they bleed into My Son, which is stunning. They bleed into Highest Star, which is stunning, and then we get the thing that stops the perfect 10. Skyforger. The actual title track itself is a bit good. Yes, it's merely good, decent, quality. It's not stunning, it's not amazing, it's not wonderful. It's just pretty damn good. Which drops the score a bit, because everything else is just so elevated up there. I mean, for whatever reason, Skyforger doesn't seem to work for me. The rhythms in it don't seem to coalesce in my mind as much as the others. Chorus is good. It's the verses that are the problem. In fact, the best part of the song is where it hits a bridge part with a vocal pattern. Then it bleeds into the chorus. And everything feels elevated from that bridge to that chorus. And then the song is like, yeah. But until then, it doesn't really work as well for me. And it's just, oh no. And of course, when you listen to an album that's been going, boom, great song, boom, great song, boom, great song, over and over and over. Even with Majestic Beast, with my predilection against death metal's vocals so much, I really got into that, really flowed to me eventually. Skyforger just sort of stops dead and it's like, oh, the album's going to tail off. Skyforger, the title track, is not as great as I hoped it would be. Everything else is just, it can't live up to the power of everything else. But then, Course of Fate hits. Course of Fate's stunning. And then From Earth I Rose. Oh my god, what an ending. What an epic ending to an epic album. This is just a pile driver of an epic folk, death, melodic prog, whatever metal you want to call it. It is powerful, epic stuff. It's well worth listening to. Most of the songs around the 5-minute plus mark. There's no songs that are like massive long epics. There's no real shorties in there either. They're all about the same sort of style, same sort of time, the same sort of style as well, same sort of compact, rigid adherence to things, where everything's like mixed up and jumbled up to make every song feel fresh and every song feel necessary and every song feel hooky. All except, of course, Skyforger. Skyforger's just not quite there. How about that for the album? The title track not being as good as everything else for me. It's pretty impressive. Band is made up of 6 musicians, and there are 3 main musicians who write all the songs. In fact, the singer, of course, awesome singer, fantastic cleans. He does all the death growls as well. There's not 2 singers on there. He does all that stuff. Whatever you think of death growls, not a fan of the death growls, but he does them bloody well because his clean vocals are bloody good as well. That's time to try and butcher Finnish names. It's Tommy Hootsen. Close? I've heard somebody say Justin. I don't think that's right because most languages in Europe don't pronounce, when they have J in the alphabet, they don't go as a hard J, except for English. It could be Jutsen, I suppose, Jutsen or Hootsen. I keep putting the S before the T. Don't know why. But Tommy, vocals. He's written 1 song on this album. But the 2 main songwriters are the lead guitarist and the keyboardist. Those are Esa Holopainen and Santeri Kallio. These guys, they write some stunning tunes. Some stunning tunes. The other guys in the band, I'm not going to name them all because frankly, a couple of them will make me go, what? But the band is bloody tight. The band is tight. The rhythm section's tight. Everything about it's tight. But there's nothing that really stands out, particularly for the bass and the drums, that much. It's guitars and keys are definitely like things you need to listen to in there. And of course, most of the songs are being written by a guitarist and a keyboard player. There are some wonderful keyboard solos within this album. Wonderful keyboard solos. And also, of course, fantastic guitar solos. It's just all round stunning album. In fact, this one from Back in Black, just to show off and just to make people go, look at it. Look at that beautiful slab of vinyl. Yes, people go like, hey, it's not black, it's not going to play as well. This plays pretty damn good. And do I need perfect aural sensibilities when I've got it turned up full blast and go blow it out of me? No, I just want to rage to it. I just want to love it. I just want to let it flow over me. I don't. I'm not really a huge nerd when it comes to perfect sounds, perfect pitches, perfect requirements. Maybe it's because I grew up in an era of the new British heavy metal when production was trash for a lot of bands. So I can appreciate stuff a little more when it's not that well produced, for instance, or not that well, the sound is a bit off, or there might be some sort of hiss, or I can take those sort of things. I can take those sort of things. Don't know why. Just is. And anyway, back to this album. Love this album, as you can probably tell. They are a stunning group. They've produced several more albums since. Little story. After I had this album, loved it to bits. Heard a couple of songs from one of their new albums, and it was all the death metal stuff. And at the time, Majestic Beast was not one of my favourites. I didn't really appreciate it very much. I liked the choruses, and it was growing on me, but I didn't want more death metal vocals. And the two songs I heard were pretty much dominated, like that one, with the death metal growl. And it was like, oh, they've basically become fully melodic death metal again. They've moved away from that sound. They hadn't. I was tricked. I didn't realise that. That they were still following the same sort of paths. It's just that, those songs I heard happened to be those types of songs I heard, which put me off for many years. And then I heard Death of the King. It was like from Under a Red Cloud, I think it was. And I was like, oh my god, what have I been missing out on? So I went straight out, bought Under a Red Cloud, and again, of course, a few months later, Queen of Time came out. And I just went, you know what, I've got to get the other ones that followed Skyforger. I've got all the ones that followed Skyforger, the ones before it. Not so much yet. One day, maybe. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this review. What did you think of this review? What do you think? Well, you probably think... but what do you think of Amorphis? What do you think of Skyforger? Do you prefer their other albums more than Skyforger? In which case... But anyway... Don't forget to click that like. Don't forget to subscribe, share, comment, suggest more stuff for me to listen to, for me to review as well. I'm planning on doing first impressions as a review type thing. So I'm going to listen to an album once and give you my thoughts on that album as well. If you're an artist out there or a band out there, or you own some stuff, you've got some stuff and you want to send it to me, either in files or if you actually want to send me physical stuff, then we can sort something out. Just let me know and I'll listen and review or whatever you want me to do with that stuff, as long as it's legal. So I'll see you for another one soon. Bye.